Welcome back from the break. Before we left, I told you we have a very interesting personality in the house who will be doing justice to our topic. Welcome to Your Rights, man.
Thank you, Winfred, and good morning.
Well done. Okay, we've been hearing about jungle justice, jungle justice. What is this jungle justice?
Thank you, first of all, for an opportunity to talk to the Benue people and every other viewer. Jungle justice, or a lynch, or lynching as we call it, is a kind of extrajudicial killing. That's a killing that is not authorized by law, but is carried out by the people for whatever reasons, and it is unlawful. So jungle justice for a layman is that action that people go into because they tend to want to take justice into their hands. They feel that the architecture put in place for justice to be served is not serving them enough. So they decide on their own to take laws into their hands. That is what I understand by jungle justice.
Okay, the masses think that jungle justice persists in Nigeria because of the rise in crime. What do you think are the causes of this menace?
There are so many reasons why people would do the things they do. We have tried on our own as a command to understand why people do extrajudicial killing, or jungle justice as we call it. And we realize that some persons feel they are not satisfied with the way the law interprets crime. You know, there are things that may seem as though they are crime to you or to a person, but they are not a crime in the eyes of the law. Some actions may also be a crime, but to prove it before the law that this is a crime is another topic for another day. So it becomes difficult for some people to understand why. For instance, someone came to my house, stole, took away my property. This person has been arrested and is arraigned in court. And the court is saying that this offense is bailable just on arrival at the court. People don't understand why. They feel once someone is arrested, you should jail that person, punish that person for an offense they feel is too big for the court to grant bail or to let go or whatever reason. But they do not understand why the things that happen. So it's very difficult for them to understand because they have not been put in the picture of what happens. So I think one of the reasons why people go into jungle justice is ignorance of the law. They do not understand why some things happen. If the law provides that someone should be granted bail for a particular offense, then even the judge may not have powers to say this person should not be granted bail, because that is what the law has said. Now, when the laws of a society or a state no longer satisfy the people, sometimes they go into setting up committees to review these laws. That's why we have constitutional review from time to time. So government can come up with such things to help look into the complaints of the people. But when the people are not channeling their complaints properly, they decide to take laws into their hands, then we will see them as criminals. We will not see them as people who are pursuing a just cause. Yes. So that's why they may not achieve so much from jungle justice. I talked about ignorance. The other reason is that people want to exercise power. They feel that why should you molest them so much? And the law has not given them an opportunity to express what they feel they have or what they feel they can do. And so you see them begin to take laws into their hands to express power. Sometimes the reason could be late response to distress calls.
Okay.
If they call on the police, either they call on the police or they don't call on the police on time, or the police are not so close to where that incident happened, then the response time may be delayed. And when they get there, hoodlums may choose to take over the case and take laws into their hands, because police officers are not at that place at the time it happened. So before arrival, some damage may have been caused before the police will arrive. We have had some cases like that. Fourthly, our moral values are decaying in the society. That is why you see our young people these days living life as though there are no laws governing them. There's no culture. People are not trained to live in a particular way. So they just go about life the way they want. Young people don't have regard for elders anymore. They don't have regard for their parents. So even in an environment where an elderly person is saying, no, stop this, wait for the police, they are not ready, because morality is gradually going down in our society. These are some of the reasons why we experience jungle justice.
Okay, actually, your rights team went out around Makurdi Metropolis to sample opinions of the public to actually know what they feel about jungle justice and some of the causes. Let's take a look at this.
My name is Anyebe David. Jungle justice is a bad something that is affecting the country right now, as we can see. Something that our leaders need to focus and try to remove it from the country, because it's getting much and it has to be eradicated.
Tena is my name. Jungle justice at times it feels like maybe a 50-50 something. Depends on still the environment and the society at large. Because let's try to assume my hard-earned money, I get a bike to hustle for a day-to-day living, and somebody comes to steal it. So certainly I will not just want to take it lightly, because I know how much I've hustled, how much I've worked hard to get that bike. So certainly I'll just try to.
That thing is a bad thing though. We parents, we are hearing here and kill. We don't happy, because this killing, they make us, we no shout again. If you catch them, you no kill them as sport, but you ask them something to say why you do like this. Why? If somebody no do, but if they catch them, they will just kill them like that. That life is lost. And we no made person, and it's only God made them.
My name is Mr. Chris John Eya. As a matter of fact, jungle justice is not always the best option. We should always allow the law enforcement agency to always look into whatever that happened. Jungle justice is never the best option in anything.
My name is Obuche Jerome. Jungle justice, initially, there have always been different opinions of people regarding jungle justice. Some of them think it's fair, others think it's wrong. But if you want to take it legitimately, of course it's wrong, because taking laws into your hands and just enforcing the laws on your own without going through the proper authorities is wrong, right? But then in some cases there are actually good reasons why jungle justice is kind of fair. But to me, since it's not lawful, it's wrong.
Sometimes, for example, when somebody suffers, gets a bike for himself, for him to do business, and all of a sudden somebody will just come from somewhere to just steal the bike. It's really bad, but sometimes you cannot control what people around that side will do to the person.
Yes, religion is a very big factor, because jungle justice now, like religion, this one, I'm not your type, we are not the same religion, and here brings fights to the country. And so for all these things, we need to unite ourselves, be one, love ourselves, and try to eradicate this jungle justice.
Like the things that they call jungle justice, now something we feel avoid. So what you go like make them do for you, you know one do to another person. So if everybody decide work hard, we go avoid them.
Some, they are finished school, they don't get work. They will fit to do that. They will fit to keep person and correct set and do everything with person, with anger, because then they don't have work.
Sometimes it just has to do with the environment. And jungle justice normally happen in where you find a lot of touts. They don't even know the implication of what they are doing, and sometimes they are ignorant of what they are doing.
Yes, most times all unemployment. Look at the issue of this ASU strike now. The students are at home doing nothing. So what do you expect them to do? Most of them don't have anything to do, and these things can make the children do evil things.
Glad to know you're still with us on Your Rights on Benue Television. Okay, so we've seen what the people have to say. So listening to what one of the respondents there said, complaining that unemployment is actually part of the reasons why maybe the youths are not engaged enough, that they would maybe join into this particular act. Well, what do you have to say?
If someone wants to relate jungle justice with unemployment, I'm just trying to think how they will relate it. Is it trying to say there are so many jobless youths on the road, and so they are available to these kind of crimes? Maybe. But I don't think that because you are unemployed, you should just think of killing someone or harming someone just because you are unemployed. It is not just because of the unemployment. Like I said earlier, it's because of the low moral value. We do not have the sacredness of life is no longer there in our society. So people can kill and they're not afraid to kill. I don't know where this is coming from. It's when they try to associate it with unemployment, I said no. Unemployment is not a reason for a human being to become heartless and take laws into his hands. It takes other factors, like I mentioned earlier, to add up. Maybe unemployment may add up as to the person does not have a job to do at that time. That's why he chose to be by the roadside to wait for who will commit an offense and he will lynch. But unemployment is not one of the key reasons why people do these things. Ignorance is the major thing. Ignorance of the law, ignorance of what they should do. Some don't even know the right thing to do, so they choose to take laws into their hands.
Okay, so what then are the dangers of jungle justice?
The dangers of jungle justice is that one of them is that innocent people can die while such extrajudicial killing is happening. If you allow everybody to be able to raise alarm that someone has stolen and they go about killing the person and nothing is done, then it will get to a point where if I have quarrel with my neighbor, I can decide on my own to raise alarm and create a scene where that person can be killed. Human beings can go to that extent. So these are some of the dangers of allowing jungle justice in the community. Secondly, that someone has stolen today does not mean that that person cannot be a better person tomorrow. So the law tries to give room for people to repent, to get better. That's why when you go to prisons, we have rehabilitation going on in prison with various skills, hoping that when they leave, they will be better people and they will live better lives. So if we begin to kill everybody that has committed a crime, then I think those of us killing too may not be innocent. We will also deserve the death. So I think people should look at jungle justice from a very bad angle. You don't have to kill people because they have stolen. The number of people, lives lost will increase if we allow that. People will begin to kill both innocent people and criminals. Even if they are criminals, why should we just kill them? Then we will be teaching our younger ones brutality. When they watch us kill a human being in that manner, without regard for what life is, they will learn to be very brutal, very hard when they grow up. So it's not a good thing to expose such life to growing people, or younger people who may just be passing by, who may just be passing around when such things happen, and they learn that, oh, people can be killed. It registers on their mind, and they begin to practice things that we will not be able to explain where they are coming from.
It's coming from, yeah. Looking at jungle justice instances in Benue here, you look at we heard of one in Kanchu where someone was burnt, and also in Otukpo, I guess, Otukpo, where someone they burnt someone and then later discovered that the person was even innocent of that. What really can be done for quick response? What should people around do? Like you said earlier that this they don't listen, they don't have regards for elders. An elder might be there and try to stop, but all to no avail. So what can be done? What quick response can maybe people around? How can they go about it?
You know, it is an established fact that we cannot have police officers everywhere. So that is why the police adopted community policing approach. In every community there are vigilante groups or neighborhood watch or whatever name they give to it. But I know that almost every community in Benue have selected people that they have entrusted to some extent their local security in their hands. So if we have such people in the neighborhood, they should be able to interfere or assist in managing the situation before the arrival of the police. Unfortunately, some communities don't even have contacts of their DPOs. I've had communities very far from the Makurdi metropolis call on me while I'm in Makurdi. They call on me that something like this is happening in their community. I will have to pick my phone to call the DPO of that community. Ordinarily, they should have gone straight to the DPO, save the time of calling me before I would go about calling the DPO. But some people have not taken security so seriously, so they do not really care to have contact of the nearest police officer who can do something about their situation. Even in the neighborhood where they have people watching their neighborhood, some tend to care less. about what is happening. So young people can go about lynching people in the name of jungle justice, which is wrong.
Okay, so talking about that, are there laws in place guiding this particular act regards this jungle justice?
Yes, I may not be very specific as to there's a law that specifies with sections that if you commit jungle justice, this is how you'll be dealt with. But jungle justice in itself is not spelled out as a law. But if you, as a result of taking laws into your hands, you kill a person, you have committed culpable homicide, and you will be treated as such. If you kill someone in the course of perpetrating jungle justice, that's culpable homicide. If you inflicted injuries on the person, that's an assault. Then other charges may come. Other charges may come to add up. The fact that you took laws into your hands is an offense already. So there are other charges that usually our legal section will put in place to help prosecute such persons. But there are no laws that I know of written that jungle justice is this and this is an offense for it. But all these laws, culpable homicide, assault, whatever you do to take laws into your hands, there's always an explanation for it in the law. And so we will charge you based on what the law specifies.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we continue, we'll go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Glad to know you're still with us on Your Rights on Benway Television. We've have a lot of discussions here, and with me in the studio is SP Seresi and doing justice to the topic jungle justice. So now, ma'am, what are the possible solutions of this menace?
The possible solution to jungle justice, first of all, is enlightenment. Public enlightenment. I said earlier that people are ignorant of the laws and processes in the criminal justice system. So if people are informed, we take out time to tell people what the law specifies, what is attainable in the criminal justice system, from where someone is arrested, investigation process, prosecution process, and if possible, the person finds himself or herself in the prison. That whole process needs to be known by members of the public so that they understand that granting bail to someone is not the end. There are reasons why the court can grant bail to a person. That's one aspect of it. Secondly, the judicial system too, we need to take into cognizance. They need to at least keep some persons for a while, if need be. In the police, we have what we call safekeeping. There are people we keep not because we are detaining them, but when we realize that if we release you to go back to your community immediately, you may be lynched. We will decide to keep you and let you know that we are keeping you so that you will be safe. The judiciary can also look into the cries of the people. People beginning to feel that this man stole and he came home too early. It's some of the reasons why they choose to take laws into their hands. That can also be addressed. Then thirdly, I would like to call on the traditional council. I know that the general populace have regard for the traditional council. So if our traditional rulers can come up and guide the youth, re-emphasize our values our moral values in the society. It will help us to live better. In those days, there were laws, there were traditional norms that guided the way people behave. And if you disobey, there were sanctions traditionally that were given to people. But in most communities today, people just live their lives without regard to custom, without regard to the law. And so we are beginning to have people misbehave and feel that they can get away with it because there are no laws. Then, lastly, the police will do well to arrest perpetrators of this act, prosecute them, and this will checkmate or will serve as deterrent to those who intend to go ahead to do the same thing. So it's important for the police to check this excess of extrajudicial killing. I think with this, it will be a thing of the past.
Okay. So is there anything you would love to say to the community?
Yes. I want to first of all appreciate members of the public for their cooperation with the police. We have had communities where a lot of young people grouped under vigilante, neighborhood watch, or whatever name they call themselves, are doing very well, cooperating with the police to make sure that their society is safe, or their communities are sanitized. That is helping us. They should keep on with that. And people should trust the police enough to give us information. We are doing our best to make sure that crime is checked in the society. But if we choose to take laws into our hands as civilian, as anybody just waking up to kill anybody, in a very short time we won't be able to contain ourselves in the society. So it's better for us to allow the rule of law
take its course.
Yes, it is very important to allow the rule of law so that all of us will enjoy ourselves in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for honoring us on this program. We hope to see more of you.
Thank you.
Well, viewer out there, you've heard it all. Jungle justice helps no one. If someone has offended you, or you find out someone who has stolen something, or someone has stepped on your own fundamental rights, the best thing is not to take laws into your hands, but channel your grievances to the appropriate authorities, and the law will take its course. On that note, we've come to the end of this episode of Your Right on Benue Television. Join us next week for another interesting episode of the program. I am Winifred, your program.
Welcome to the exciting world of Benue Television, where we give you an exclusive ride into the world of news, current affairs, and entertainment.